So most of the sheets are dried. I'm going to show you what they look like. So this was a sheet I did earlier on. I was testing it. Right. And you can really see that looks like writing with a pencil. Wet. And see that sense of pencil writing. There is the thinner ink, the 1 part ink, 3 parts ink to 1 part water. Brush lettering, this is with a Speedball C2. And then that, look at this side, see how raised that is on the surface. Let this dry long and hard enough. I would probably leave that for a week or 2 before I try to burnish it. And it really does dry very much like gouache does. Here is that burnished sheet I showed you earlier on, and you can really see that coming up. Here, what I did here was I laid the lighter color and I burnished it first, then I put the shadow on, whereas this, I did both of them and burnished both of them. There are those stubs that I put on, but they cracked because they were not dry enough. And there you can see the burnish. Now, you not really sort of getting the justice of it. But here you can see the tooling quite wonderfully. The first sheet, dry, see the thicker, you can see the thicker script is thicker because it doesn't work straight out of the pointed flexible nib, so you do need to thin that a little bit. And here is the copperplate script, quite flat. Now if you burnish that, that will come up really beautiful. And there are the other 2. Maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll burnish half of those. I'm going to use the crystal parchment. I'm holding it, and I'm holding it quite taut. Doesn't that's come up really brilliantly. Now, you could do this in any number of ways. You burnish the tops, but just as easily, just do the top of the quadrants. That's quite interesting because that's where the light will hit you. I mean, there's so much to play with this liquid graphite. This is it on the brown, on the gray, and you really see that standing out. That is so beautiful, and it initially interacted with the lines, but now it's really quite a different kind of shade. It's really sort of quite proud, and you can see that lovely bit of hatching, and you can also see that it is a little bit raised. It does have texture to it. There's the Spencerian, which is a little bit blobby, so I would thin it down to maybe 1:1. There's some Fraktur that I did, some of my upright italic, Roman caps, and you can really see, some, let me see if I can show you this, some little iridescence, speckling. That's the graphite. Then this was the black one, gave a little bit of problems, but then I wrote an alphabet out without using any lines, and that sort of come up really quite beautifully. Now, I've not burnished this, and look at those hairlines. They're really quite sharp, fine, really beautiful on the black paper. And of course, The ruling pen ones, they're still drying. So see how pencil-like they look. You look at that, you can see the iridescence a little bit. Then this one is obviously still wet. You can see that little bulb of wetness there. And of course, that's the other one. Really see that's still a little damp. See that sawtooth thing. I mean, it's a shame you really can't see what I'm seeing. Here, so here it's sort of split up, and it's really created. Apart from the sawtoothing, the texture of the heavier suspension and the carrier and the binder. So it's a lot of possibility with